Ever heard of an island where birds sing louder than the ocean? Welcome to Dominica. Not the Dominican Republic. Nope. This one's the nature island of the Caribbean, where volcanoes breathe mist and parrots literally sparkle in the sunlight. Now, most tourists come here for waterfalls and coconuts, but the real celebrities, they've got feathers. And trust me, some of them look so unreal, you'll think Pixar designed them after a few too many piña coladas. We're talking hummingbirds that glow like neon signs, hawks that own the sky like jet fighters, and tiny songbirds with the attitude of a rock band on tour. So, question for you. If paradise had a soundtrack, would it chirp, whistle, or scream? Stick around because today we're meeting 15 of Dominica's rarest and most jaw-dropping bird species, from the bold, the bizarre, to the downright beautiful. Oh, and fair warning, by the end, you might just start Googling cheap flights to Dominica. Let's take off. Take. You ever seen a bird so shiny it looks like it's got a built-in disco ball? That's the purple-throated carib, Dominica's little flying gemstone. And no, that name isn't exaggerating. When sunlight hits its throat, it flashes violet, emerald, and ruby all at once. Some call it a hummingbird. I'd call it a show-off with wings. But here's the question. How does something this tiny pull off so much sparkle without being eaten in 5 minutes? Turns out that glow isn't just for looks. The color shifts depending on the angle of light, almost like a built-in camouflage trick. To predators, it's confusing. 1 second it's glowing purple, the next it just disappears into the green. And this bird's got personality. Male cribs are basically the drama queens of the rainforest. They defend their feeding territory like it's a 5-star cafe. No sharing. If another hummingbird dares to sip from their flowers, it's instant aerial combat. Feathers, squeaks, and high-speed dives like a tiny Top Gun scene. Here's the fun twist. The females, they look different. Their colors are duller, their beaks longer, and guess what? They prefer completely different flowers. It's like they split up the buffet. You take the red blossoms, I'll handle the orange ones. Scientists call it ecological gender partitioning. I call it smart marriage counseling. But let's talk speed. These birds beat their wings about 40 to 50 times per second. That's faster than you can blink 5 times, just to hover in front of one bloom. Imagine burning calories like that and still finding time to look fabulous. So here's a thought. If beauty, speed, and attitude all came in one package, would you want to live like that? Or would you rather chill like a pigeon and save the energy? Because in Dominica, even the smallest creatures seem to say, if you're not shining, what's the point of flying? Now that's a bird with confidence issues we could all aspire to. Or envy, your call. If Dominica had a national mood, it'd probably be this bird. Cheerful, busy, and just a little bit nosy. The Bananaquit looks like it's wearing a smile 24/7. Tiny body, bright yellow belly, and a sharp little curve to its beak, like it's permanently curious about your business. But here's the thing. Have you ever met a bird that basically invented its own straw? Bananaquits can pierce flowers open and drink nectar straight from the base, skipping the polite bee entrance. That's right. They cheat nature's system. Efficient, rebellious, and totally unapologetic. Some people call them sugar birds, because they'll even sneak into backyard feeders or poke holes in sugar packets left out on cafe tables. I told you, nosy. Now let's get real. They're not just cute, they're everywhere. From mountain forests to beach gardens, Bananaquits have adapted to every corner of Dominica. They've even figured out how to hang upside down to drink from blossoms, like gymnasts in a nectar bar. Tell me that's not dedication to the sweet life. Here's a fun twist. Their songs, not exactly angelic, it's more of a cheerful, squeaky chatter, like a tiny radio that can't find the right station. But that noise, it's the sound of morning in the Caribbean. Locals wake up to it, tourists record it, and other birds probably roll their eyes. Mini debate time. Would you rather be the calm, elegant bird admired from afar, or the bold, noisy one who steals everyone's sugar and attention? Because the Bananaquit doesn't wait for an invitation. It just shows up, makes friends, and drinks first. And maybe that's the lesson. In a world full of rules, sometimes it pays to be the little yellow outlaw with a sweet tooth and zero shame. So next time you sip your morning coffee, picture this guy upside down, sipping his own version of a caramel latte straight from a hibiscus flower. Who's living the better life now? Okay, let's get one thing straight. If Dominica's birds were characters in a sitcom, the pearly-eyed thrasher would be the clever troublemaker. You know, the one who looks innocent until you realize they've been stealing snacks, mimicking your ringtone, and outsmarting half the cast. This bird's got a look. Bright, silvery eyes that almost glow, like it's permanently plotting something. And trust me, it probably is. Thrashers are famous across the Caribbean for being brainy, bold, and a little, well, morally flexible. Ever seen a bird raid another bird's nest just to grab the materials? Yeah, that's this guy. It doesn't just sing sweet tunes, it performs full-blown heists. Pearly-eyed thrashers will swipe fruits, insects, and even shiny human stuff left unattended. Scientists say it's because they're opportunistic omnivores. I say they're professional problem solvers, or professional thieves, depending on your perspective. But here's the fun part. They're also incredible mimics. They can copy other birds' songs, twist them around, and throw them back into the forest like musical pranks. Imagine being a poor little warbler, thinking you found a date, only to realize you've been catfished by a thrasher. Brutal. And their parenting style? Let's just say, chaotic genius. Both male and female take turns feeding the chicks, but if food's short, the bigger siblings might nudge the smaller ones aside. Survival of the sneakiest. A real-life drama straight from a nature documentary. Now, mini twist. These birds aren't villains, they're survivors. On a small island where storms hit hard and resources vanish overnight, the pearly-eyed thrasher's boldness is what keeps it alive. It's the pirate of the forest. Loud, cunning, and unashamed. So here's my question. Do we judge it for being ruthless, or respect it for being smart enough to win the game nature stacked against it? Because if intelligence means bending the rules, maybe this bird's not misbehaving. It's just evolving faster than the rest of us. Either way, don't leave your lunch unattended in Dominica's forests. The pearly-eyed thrasher's probably watching, and it's already got a plan. If the Caribbean had its own morning radio host, this would be him, the Black-whiskered vireo. From sunrise till noon, this tiny singer just doesn't stop talking. Seriously, it sings up to 20,000 notes a day. Imagine having a neighbor who practices karaoke every single morning and never gets tired. Now here's the kicker. Most people don't even see this bird, they hear it. It hides in the treetops, belting out its famous, "You see me? You can't see me" song. That's not me joking. Birders literally describe its rhythm like that. It's like the vireo's trolling everyone who tries to spot it. And those whiskers, they're not actual whiskers, just dark streaks along its cheeks that give it a smug, slightly sarcastic look. If you stare at it long enough, you half expect it to wink back. Fun fact, this little chatterbox migrates all the way from North America to the Caribbean every year. It flies hundreds of miles over open ocean, powered by pure determination and, I assume, the urge to keep singing. That's like a road trip where the driver refuses to turn the music off. Here's a mini twist. Even though it sounds cheerful, this bird's not as easygoing as you'd think. It's fiercely territorial. Males will chase intruders, shout at them, and sing louder just to prove who owns the canopy. Kind of like an island version of The Voice, but with fewer judges and more feathers flying. So here's something to think about. Is nonstop confidence a superpower or just good branding? Because the black-whiskered vireo doesn't blend in. It broadcasts loudly, proudly, all day long. Maybe that's the secret to island happiness. Keep singing even when no one's watching, and if they are, sing louder. Because on Dominica, silence isn't golden, it's suspicious. Ever met someone who's small but acts like they own the place? That's the gray kingbird, Dominica's self-appointed air traffic controller. It perches on the highest branch, chest puffed out, scanning the sky like a cop looking for speeders. And when another bird, or even a hawk, flies too close, boom, instant chase scene. They don't call it kingbird for nothing. This little ruler has zero chill. It'll dive bomb creatures 10 times its size just to prove a point. You might laugh, but I've seen a gray kingbird send a red-tailed hawk spinning midair like it just got told off by a feathery parent. Here's the question. What gives a bird this tiny, such massive confidence? Maybe it's the crown. That subtle crest on its head lifts when it's mad, like a natural warning flag. Or maybe it's just the attitude. These birds were born to boss people around. Even their call sounds like a scolding. Kitty, kitty, kitty. It's the avian version of yelling, hey, you don't belong here. Fun fact, gray kingbirds are master hunters of flying insects. They don't just wait. They launch from a perch, catch bugs midair, and return like they're doing acrobatics for fun. Watching one hunt feels like watching a fighter jet on espresso. And yet, between the drama, they're loyal parents. Both male and female guard the nest together, taking turns feeding the chicks and yelling at anything that gets within 5 feet. True teamwork, island style. But here's a mini twist. Despite the name, the gray kingbird isn't flashy. No rainbow feathers, no royal cape. Just clean gray and white, all business. So maybe the lesson is this. You don't need bright colors to stand out. Just the guts to defend your branch. Tell me, if you had the courage of a kingbird, what would you stop tolerating? Because this little gray bird doesn't wait for permission. It gives it, and somehow everyone listens. Now here's a bird with mystery written all over it. The mangrove cuckoo is the kind of creature you hear before you see, if you see it at all. It lives deep in the tangled mangroves of Dominica, where the roots twist like spider legs, and the air hums with salt and silence. You might catch a soft cuckoo, cuckoo, echoing through the swamp, and for a second you think it's the wind. But nope, that's our elusive little magician. Here's the wild part. Most locals have never actually seen one. Even experienced birders sometimes go home with nothing but mosquito bites and audio recordings. The mangrove cuckoo is basically the island's ghost bird. Beautiful, shy, and almost mythical. And here's a fun fact that always gets people. It's a cousin of the infamous cuckoo that lays eggs in other birds' nests. But not this one. The mangrove cuckoo actually raises its own chicks. It broke the family tradition. You could say it's the black sheep of the cuckoo family, or maybe the honorable one. It's got this creamy beige chest, olive gray back, and that distinct black mask across the eye, like it's wearing a disguise for a secret mission. And honestly, that fits its personality. One moment it's perched motionless among the branches, the next, gone. No sound, no flutter, just vanished. But don't let the calm fool you. When hunting, this bird turns stealth into art. It creeps through branches, catching insects and lizards with ninja precision. No dramatic chases, no flashy feathers, just quiet success. Mini twist. Researchers believe this bird is disappearing from some islands because mangroves are being cut down. So every time a forest gets cleared, the cuckoo loses its invisibility cloak, and it's home. So here's my question. What's better? Being seen and admired, or staying hidden and free? Because the mangrove cuckoo seems perfectly fine being a legend. Silent, secretive, and untouchable. And maybe that's why, in a noisy world, this bird still feels like magic, because it knows when to vanish. All right, here's a bird with a name that sounds like a playground insult. But don't laugh too soon. The yellow-bellied sapsucker is actually a genius-level engineer with a caffeine addiction. This woodpecker's whole life revolves around drilling. Neat, perfect little rows of holes in tree bark. Why? Not to eat the tree, but to drink it. They tap into the sap, then come back later for a refill, and maybe grab a few trapped insects for dessert. Basically, it's the forest version of a coffee barista with a sweet tooth. And here's the fun part. Those tiny sap wells don't just feed the sapsucker. Dozens of other animals, hummingbirds, bats, butterflies, line up to sip from them. So technically, this bird runs a 24-hour forest cafe, unpaid of course. But there's a twist. It's also kind of obsessive. Once a sapsucker picks its tree, it defends it like prime real estate. Hawks, ignored. Other woodpeckers, chased away. Even humans get dive-bombed if they stand too close. You'd think it owns stock in maple syrup. And have you seen one up close? That yellowish belly gives it the name, but it's the red forehead and black and white face that make it look like a rock star who just rolled out of a concert tour. It's got attitude. You can almost hear it saying, "Don't touch my tree, man." Now here's where it gets weird. The holes it drills can actually shape forests. When it targets a tree repeatedly, that tree might eventually weaken, creating habitat for fungi, insects, and even nesting birds. In other words, this little sap addict is also an accidental architect, destroyer and creator, all in one. So question for you, if doing what you love caused both chaos and creation, would you stop? Because the yellow-bellied sapsucker sure doesn't. It just keeps hammering, sipping, and living its sticky little dream. Maybe that's the secret. Find your tree, make your mark, and don't apologize for a single tap. If the forest had a handyman, this would be him. The southern house wren. Small, brown, unremarkable at first glance, until you watch what he builds. This tiny bird is basically the Bob the Builder of Dominica. Give him a hollow, a shoe, or a forgotten mailbox, and he'll turn it into a luxury suite. You might laugh, but wrens take architecture seriously. The males build several demo nests just to impress the females. Like, "Hey honey, pick your favorite design. Rustic, modern, or ocean view." And the best part? Sometimes he builds fake nests just to throw off predators. Now that's strategy, but don't be fooled by his cute look. He's got the temper of a chainsaw. If another male gets too close, the wren turns into a full-blown street fighter, wings flapping, voice screeching like a smoke alarm. You can hear the chaos echo through the forest. Tiny bird, massive ego. Fun fact, their song is one of the most complex in the bird world. It's a non-stop burst of trills and warbles, changing every few seconds. Scientists think they do it to flex intelligence. I think they just enjoy talking over everyone. Here's the twist. Despite being so loud, wrens actually help balance the ecosystem. They eat insects that attack crops and trees, saving farmers tons of trouble. So yeah, they're noisy, but also essential. Like that one friend who never stops talking, but somehow gets everything done. And they adapt anywhere. Forest? Fine. Backyard? Perfect. Abandoned Jeep? Even better. If it's got a hole, it's home. That's how you survive an unpredictable island. Build fast, sing loud, and move on when the storm hits. So tell me, would you rather be the silent observer or the loud doer who actually makes things happen? Because this little bird doesn't wait for peace and quiet. It creates its own kind of order, one chirp and one twig at a time. Maybe that's why they call it house wren. It reminds us that home isn't what you find, it's what you build. Now this one, the purple martin is basically the cool kid of the sky. Sleek, shiny, confident, and always rolling deep with friends. Picture a squadron of glossy blue-purple birds swirling in perfect formation over the Caribbean coast, catching insects midair like it's a sport. That's a martin show. Here's the hook. These birds are obsessed with community. They don't just live near each other. They move like a synchronized air force. When they migrate, thousands of them fill the sky, flashing metallic colors as they twist and dive. It's like the Northern Lights decided to learn choreography. But here's the mini twist. They actually depend on humans. For centuries, purple martins have nested in man-made gourds or birdhouses. In fact, in some regions, they won't nest in the wild anymore. They've learned that living near people means fewer predators and easier food. It's a strange, beautiful alliance. One of the only wild species that genuinely likes us. Fun fact, they're bug-devouring machines. A single martin can eat hundreds of mosquitoes and beetles every day. Imagine having your own natural pest control squad flying over your backyard. Pretty good trade-off, right? But that easy charm hides a streak of drama. Male martins are hopeless romantics and terrible roommates. They'll guard the best nest cavities, sing to attract a female, then spend the rest of the season fighting anyone who gets too close. Meanwhile, the females quietly raise the kids and roll their eyes. Some things never change. Still, it's hard not to love them. When they fly, they make the sky feel alive. Smooth arcs, joyful chatter, sunlight bouncing off their feathers. It's that kind of effortless grace that makes you stop and look up, even if just for a second. So let's stir the debate. Would you rather live free and solo like an eagle, or be part of a shimmering social flock that owns the sunset every evening? Because the purple martin has already made its choice. Freedom in numbers, beauty in teamwork. And honestly, watching them glide through Dominica's golden light, you can't help but think, maybe they're doing life right. Here comes the daredevil, the American kestrel, Dominica's tiny falcon with the heart of a lion and the reflexes of a fighter jet. It may look small, barely bigger than a soda can, but don't let that fool you. This bird hunts like it's auditioning for an action movie. One moment it's hovering midair, perfectly still against the wind. The next it's dropping like a bullet onto an unsuspecting lizard. Ever tried standing still in midair? Neither have I, but somehow this bird does it with style, balancing wind pressure, tail spread, and wing beats at just the right rhythm. Nature's original drone, no batteries needed. And it's not just speed. The kestrel's got fashion sense too. Males wear blue-gray wings with a rufous back and tail, while females rock more subtle stripes. Together they look like a perfectly styled power couple. She's classy, he's flashy. Here's the twist. Kestrels see ultraviolet light. Yup, a whole color spectrum we can't even imagine. That means they can literally see the trails of urine left by mice in the grass. Glowing lines that lead straight to dinner. So while we're tripping over roots, this bird's reading neon arrows to its next meal. And talk about multitasking. It's one of the few raptors that can live anywhere. Forest edge, farmland, even near cities. As long as there's a perch and prey, the kestrel's in business. But here's the question. How does something so small stay fearless in a world full of bigger predators? Maybe it's simple. It doesn't compare. It just flies. Fast, sharp, confident, like it knows fear wastes time. Watching a kestrel hover over Dominica's cliffs feels like watching courage in motion. Delicate wings defying gravity, eyes locked on the horizon. So tell me, if you could master one kestrel skill, would it be the precision or the fearlessness? Because this bird proves every day. Size is a number, confidence is a choice. And that, my friend, is how you turn survival into art. You ever look up and wonder what it feels like to own the sky? The broad-winged hawk could tell you, if it ever bothered to come down. This bird isn't flashy, it's not loud, but it's got presence. Wide wings, calm glide, eyes that see everything. If the American kestrel is the fighter jet, this one's the silent bomber. Patient, deliberate, and unstoppable. Now here's the kicker. This hawk is the mastermind of migration. Every fall, thousands of them gather over the Caribbean, riding warm air currents called thermals all the way from North America to South America. No GPS, no maps, no drama, just instinct and timing so perfect that scientists call the event a kettle, because they spiral like steam rising from a pot. Imagine standing on a Dominica cliff and watching hundreds of hawks swirling above you in perfect motion. Feels almost religious. Fun fact, broad-winged hawks travel up to 4,000 miles every year. That's like flying from New York to Lima, powered by nothing but muscle, wind, and hunger. And the wildest part? They remember the exact same route, year after year. You ever forget where you parked your car? Yeah, this bird doesn't. But don't mistake their grace for gentleness. When it's time to hunt, it's precision and violence in one package. Frogs, snakes, rodents, you name it. The moment it spots movement, it folds its wings and drops like gravity owes it a favor. Still, there's a kind of peace in the way it flies. It doesn't rush. It reads the air, catching invisible waves that we can't even feel. There's a quiet confidence there, the kind that comes from knowing you don't have to prove anything. So here's the thought. Is wisdom knowing when to move, or just having the guts to trust the wind? Because the broad-winged hawk doesn't overthink, it just soars. And maybe that's the lesson. Sometimes the smartest thing you can do is let the air do the work. Not bad for a bird that turned migration into meditation. Now this is the boss bird. The red-tailed hawk doesn't need to prove anything. One scream from the sky, and every creature below knows who's in charge. You've heard that sound before, the sharp echoing cree. Hollywood uses it in every movie when they need something majestic and slightly terrifying. Yep, that's this guy. Even when the movie shows an eagle, the sound, red-tailed hawk. Talk about being typecast. It's the largest and most commanding raptor you'll see soaring above Dominica's ridges. Wings spread wide like a hang glider, tail glowing copper red in the sun. It doesn't flap much. It doesn't need to. It just rides the air, scanning the ground with laser focus, waiting for something. A rat, a snake, maybe a careless lizard, to make the wrong move. Here's a wild fact. Their vision is about 8 times sharper than ours. They can spot a mouse from 100 feet up. That's like you reading the fine print on a soda can from across a football field. Unreal. But what makes them truly fascinating isn't just their hunting, it's their partnership. Red-tailed hawks often mate for life. They build giant stick nests high in trees or cliffs and return year after year to repair and reuse them. There's loyalty in that, the kind that's rare even among humans. And yet, for all their power, they don't waste it. You never see a red-tail panicking or showing off. It's pure control. Every movement measured, every dive calculated. It knows it's the top predator. It doesn't have to shout about it. Well, except for that scream. Mini twist? Those regal birds are often seen perched on telephone poles, right above highways, watching the world rush by. King of the wild, chilling on a man-made tower. Maybe it's just adapting. Or maybe it's reminding us that even royalty enjoys a good view of traffic sometimes. So here's the question. If power and peace could coexist, would you soar high like the red tail, or stay grounded where it's safe? Because this hawk already made its choice. It rules the open sky, and somehow still looks bored doing it. Now that's confidence. Every island has its symbol of peace, and in Dominica, it coos. The Zenaida dove isn't rare, it's not loud, and it doesn't dress in neon feathers. But somehow it steals every quiet morning. You'll find it perched on a fence post, eyes half closed, feathers soft as the light itself. Like the island's heartbeat just slowed down to listen. Its call, that slow, echoing coo-oo-oo, floating through the air like a sigh. It sounds peaceful, but listen closer. It's not sad, it's patient. There's something deeply Caribbean about that rhythm. Calm, steady, unbothered by the chaos around it. Here's the first fun fact. The Zenaida dove is actually a close cousin of the mourning dove found across the US, but with a tan. Seriously. Its plumage glows with a warm bronze tint under tropical light, and those tiny iridescent spots on its wings shimmer like hidden jewelry. Not flashy, just quietly beautiful, like someone who knows their worth. But don't let the calm fool you. These doves are tough. They nest low, often right on the ground, and still manage to survive predators, storms, and human noise. One wrong wave, one stray dog, and their nest could be gone, yet somehow they rebuild. Again and again. Resilience in slow motion. Mini twist. In local folklore, the Zenaida dove's coo is said to call rain, or even souls. Some islanders pause when they hear it, a tiny spiritual reflex passed down through generations. Science says it's just a courtship song. The heart says otherwise. And when you watch them feed, pecking seeds with gentle precision, side by side in pairs, you start to see what peace really means out here. Not silence, not perfection, just persistence with grace. So tell me, is peace the absence of noise or the strength to stay calm inside it? Because this little dove doesn't hide from life's storms. It hums through them. Maybe that's why the island loves it so much. It's the sound of surviving softly. Now here's a bird that wears its history like armor. The scaly-naped pigeon isn't just another island bird. It's an old soul. One look at it and you get the feeling it's seen hurricanes, volcanoes, pirates, maybe even a few confused tourists. It's big, stately, and calm, with deep gray plumage and that distinctive scaly texture around its neck that catches the light like subtle metallic lace. That's where the name comes from. But under that quiet look, it's pure wilderness. This bird doesn't hang out in cities or parks. It prefers the untouched forests of Dominica, where the canopy blocks the sun and the air smells of moss and rain. Here's a fun fact. The scaly-naped pigeon can fly for miles without a sound. Unlike its city cousins, it doesn't do the frantic flapping thing. Just smooth, powerful wing beats, disappearing into the treetops before you can blink. It's the forest's silent courier, and maybe its oldest messenger. And get this, its ancestors are thought to have spread across the Caribbean long before humans did. Island by island, they carried seeds in their stomachs, unintentionally planting forests wherever they landed. So in a way, every shade of green you see on Dominica owes a little something to this bird. Mini twist, in some islands these pigeons were once hunted heavily for food. But on Dominica, they've managed to hang on, partly because the island's rugged terrain keeps them out of reach. Smart move. Evolution's version of social distancing. They mate for life too, building nests high above ground, raising 1 or 2 chicks at a time. Slow, steady, loyal. There's something dignified about that. So here's the question. Would you rather live fast in the spotlight or quietly shape the world from the shadows? Because the scaly-naped pigeon isn't chasing fame. It's building legacies, one seed at a time. Maybe that's why it feels like a spirit of the forest. Steady, ancient, and beautifully underrated. You don't notice it right away. But once you do, the island doesn't feel the same without it. Every story deserves a graceful ending. And this one belongs to the West Indian whistling duck, a bird so rare it feels like a secret the Caribbean still keeps. You won't find it quacking noisily like the mallard in your local pond. Nope. This bird whistles, a soft, haunting tune that echoes across the mangroves at dusk. Equal parts music and mystery. Picture it, the sun sinking behind Dominica's wetlands, the air still and golden, and from the reeds comes that delicate sound. Not a cry, not a call, more like the island exhaling. It's peaceful, but also a little eerie, like something ancient remembering its past. Now here's a fact that surprises most people. This duck is one of the rarest waterfowl in the entire Caribbean. Its population dropped so low that for years, scientists thought it might vanish completely. Hunting, habitat loss, and wetland draining almost erased it from the map. But somehow, against all odds, it's still here. Quiet, cautious, and stubbornly alive. And look closely. It's beautiful in a subtle way. Long neck, streaked brown plumage with creamy spots, dark eyes that look curious yet weary. It's a bird that carries its struggle in silence. Unlike the flashy parrots or loud kingbirds, the whistling duck doesn't demand attention. It just glides, slow, elegant, dignified, as if saying, you don't need noise to be extraordinary. Mini twist, they're social birds. When one whistles, others answer from across the swamp, forming a kind of echoing choir under the moonlight. Locals sometimes call it the night concert of the wetlands. Romantic, right? But it's also a reminder. Each whistle means one more survivor. So here's my question. In a world obsessed with loud beauty, could you fall in love with quiet resilience? Because that's the spirit of this duck. Graceful, rare, and stronger than it looks. Maybe that's why ending with this species feels right. After all the color, speed, and drama, Dominica's final voice is a whisper, a soft, defiant whistle that says, we're still here. So, after 15 wild, fearless, and beautiful encounters, tell me, did Dominica surprise you? Because that's the magic of this little island. It doesn't shout for attention. It just exists, quietly, powerfully, perfectly alive. We met birds that sparkle like gemstones, sing like storytellers, and dive like jet pilots. We saw clever thieves, loyal partners, sugar addicts, and silent hunters, all living side by side on one volcanic speck in the Caribbean Sea. And somehow, every one of them fits. Here's the thing. Dominica isn't just tropical paradise. It's a lesson. A reminder that beauty isn't only in the rare or the colorful. It's in balance, in persistence, in how each creature finds its rhythm between storm and sunshine. The island's forests hum with tiny hearts beating faster than ours, wings flashing through the mist like living jewels. And maybe that's what keeps people coming back. Not just for the views, but for the feeling that nature here is still wild, still real, still winning. So now I'll leave you with a question. If you had wings, which of Dominica's birds would you be? The bold kestrel? The sneaky thrasher? Or maybe the quiet whistling duck singing softly through the storm? Whichever you choose, remember this. Every flight, every song, every shimmer of color out here is proof that life, when left untamed, becomes art. Thanks for flying with us today. And if you love this journey, don't forget to leave your favorite bird in the comments. Until next time, keep your eyes on the sky, because somewhere out there, another wild wing is waiting to be seen.